Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden. This is Pretty Little Garden and I am Jen. In today's video, I am going to be doing a few things around my yard on this beautiful spring day. I have my microphone on, but I don't know if you can hear beyond my microphone, but the birds are just singing their song today. There's just so many birds around and they're just so happy. It's just, they're playing with each other. You know how birds kind of like sometimes they fly together and they sort of interact together and then they fly off together. And it's just so beautiful to watch. And I recently filled my bird feeders again, and it had been a few days. And sometimes, when it has been a few days since I have fed them, and I go and I feed them again, I feel like they sort of like they let each other know that there's more food in the bird feeder. I was observing out my window this morning, and I just heard this bird just kind of chirping away. And I think he was telling the other birds, hey, listen, she filled the bird feeder again. Let's go, like kind of announcing it. So that was so cute. I enjoyed that very much. Anyway, those are just some of my observations from the morning. I have just been enjoying the birds very much, and I'm going to be getting my hummingbird feeder out very soon. I haven't done that yet. Today in my garden, I'm going to be just doing a few things. My peonies are finally starting to open up, and I'll show you. They're just beginning to open, and they're just beautiful. I forgot to put my peony supports on when they started coming up in the springtime. So I did just order some plant supports off of Amazon, and I can show you what I ordered. Just these are, can be used if you have forgotten to put the gridded peony support on. And I'll show you what I'm going to do there. And then I had purchased a shade-loving plant to go underneath my birch tree. I have 4 birch trees, but one of my birch trees, and I'll talk to you about that. It's called the Pink-a-Blue Pulmonaria, and it's a shade-loving plant that starts out pink and then turns blue. So I have 3 of those. I was going to try to get those planted today, and if I can get to my other desired little project, I did also purchase some catmint. I have lots of catmint in my yard. Junior Walker catmint. I also have early bird catmint that you may have seen in my last spring garden tour. I think I talked about my early bird catmint, but I also purchased some cat's pajama nepeta or catmint, and I wanted to try out the cat's pajama nepeta as well. It's a proven winners variety, and I know that it's probably really special because of that. So I bought 3 of those, and I want to just put those in front of my Crimson Century Norway maple, and I can show you where that is as well. So you are always invited, and I would love it if you would join me today in my garden. So you can see here is my peony, and I think I had told you before that this was Sarah Bernhardt, but this is definitely the Alexander Fleming. At least this one is. I can tell just by the color coming up. The Sarah Bernhardt is a lighter pale pink color, so I have a beautiful patch of these Dr. Alexander Fleming peonies that are getting ready to open up, and you can see this one is opening up. Isn't that gorgeous? I also have another one right here that's starting to open up as well. So back in the springtime, I had every intention of getting my gridded peony support on these peonies when they started to emerge from the ground. When your peonies start to emerge from the ground, that is the perfect time to place your gridded support, on the peony to support it. And then, each one of the flower stalks that comes up kind of goes through the grid, and it's supported that way. Well, what do you do if you forgot to put it on and it's in this state? Right now they're looking really beautiful the way they are standing up, but as soon as the peony flower begins to open, the whole structure will get weighed down because you know, if you've ever seen a peony bloom, it's quite large. So it does need some support of some kind. So because I missed my opportunity for the grid support, I did just purchase these plant supports on Amazon, and I can link them down below if anyone is interested. Okay, this is what the plant support looks like. It's just this long support. I purchased the 10-inch by 24-inch size, and you get 10 of these in a pack, and they also interlock. So you get 10 of these in a pack, and they also interlock if you want to make like a, see how I just slid that down in there? If you want to make like a fence, you just kind of interlock them like that. Or you could just use them singly, just like this, and you just stick it into the ground and it supports your plant. And the other option is making like a circle. You can see what I'm doing here. If you just have like a singular plant that needs staking or support, you can interlock them like that, and they can support one plant coming up this way. I think I'm just going to, I'm not going to make the fence, but I think I'm just going to probably use 3 to support this peony, and I'm just going to gently place it underneath the plant, and I'll show you. I'll just place it gently underneath the plant, probably put 3 here, like I said, just to support those stems, and so that the peony doesn't flop over once it's in full bloom. Okay, I'm just going to gently push my peony plant back and just get kind of up close to it. And I'm just going to push it down into the ground. Ooh, here we go. Just be gentle, because it is easy to snap things when it's this grown. All right, I like how that looks. You see, it's gently supporting the bigger plants down here. I'm going to come around probably with 2 more right around this way. Okay, I've got my next one here, and I'm just going to gently pull back, position it, and push down. Do you see how that kind of just lifted everything? I think that looks great. All right, I'm just gonna place my last one right over here. I think I want to go in a little further with that one. Again, just be as gentle as you can, especially when it's this grown. Oops. Just going to push down. Ooh. How'd we do? I almost think I might need one more, because this guy is kind of coming over, and I don't want him to have to be forced to come over this way. This one is I can tell this is the Sarah Bernhardt. If you can tell, if you can see, it is very pale pink. I love those. Okay, let me get one more. Yeah, I can see I have just a couple of Sarah Bernhardts. I think there's only 2 there. I'm just going to kind of come right in here. There we go. Here we go. And I can see it's going to be a great support for that Sarah Bernhardt. Wonderful. Here's my other peony, and I was able to put 2 supports on this one here. I think that'll be just fine. And I also think this is all Alexander Fleming here. This one looks like it's a little bit further along than the one off my patio. It's going to be a beautiful show. I purchased 3 of these Pinkablu Pulmonaria, also known as lungwort, and this is a perennial plant. Let's see, what zones? This is a perennial plant. It is shade loving. It says part shade to shade, so it really loves shade. And you can see it has a beautiful like speckled leaf, and the leaf has a really rough feel to it. It's like sandpaper. And as you can see, it is out of bloom at this time, and it starts off as pink and then goes to blue. I'll also put a picture up so you can see. But I've always admired it, and I thought it would be beautiful underneath my birch trees. And the features are, it says, flowers open pink and transition to blue in late spring. Silver speckling frosts the deep green leaves. Its attractive foliage can be enjoyed after the spring flowers are finished. Grows best in filtered sun or part shade in inorganic moist soil. Keep watered during dry spells. Okay, so actually under my birch tree will be perfect because that will get some dappled sun coming in through that birch tree, over that birch tree. So I think that'll be perfect. So let's get started planting the Pinkablu Pulmonaria. This is where I have placed them. If you recall, this is my new garden bed from last fall. Don't look at those arborvitae. They're looking horrendous right now. And so I haven't planted much in this bed. You can see there are my 2 viburnum, and I have a hydrangea down the way and an astilbe. What else do I have? A rose of Sharon, and there's a little baby iris. Not too much in this bed yet, so I think this spot here will be perfect for this Pinkablu plant, and it will get mostly shade, but also some dappled sun, which it said right on the tag that it would like some dappled sun as well. So I think just right underneath this river birch tree is going to be perfect. I have to say I do not like the name Pulmonaria or lungwort. That it just bothers me. I think because I have a nursing background, that's what I went to school for, and it grosses me out a little bit that they decided to call that lungwort or pulmonaria, because if there was some type of a disease process in your lung, the leaf would be like what it would show up or look like on an x-ray. So I don't know what they were thinking when they named it that, but because I don't think that's very appealing, but just my 2 cents. I'm hoping I don't run into too many roots from the river birch tree. So far, so good. Pretty good so far. I have not really run into too many huge roots from the river birch tree. Oh, I spoke too soon. Okay, there's one right down there. Let's see. Took it out of the pot here. Root system looks pretty good. Definitely needs to be watered. Let's see if we're down far enough. See if I can massage. I'm going to just remove a little bit from the bottom. I think it'll be just fine. I don't want to have to dig and remove some of the soil from the bottom. I don't want to have to dig too much deeper because that would be disturbing a big root from the river birch tree, and I do not want to do that. Need some Biotone. This is starter plant food, and I do enjoy using it because I think it helps my plants to get a good start. It's supposed to help with root development, and that's a good thing. All right. I'm backfilling with the native soil. I have hard clay soil. That's why I'm breaking it up as I'm putting it back. You can also use some of the stuff that I just took out from the bottom of the plant. And I'm just going to press down to get any air pockets out. Perfect. And I'll water everything when I'm done planting today. Okay, I can feel some raindrops beginning, so we are going to work a little faster just to finish up this last project. Here I am just along the back fence, and I purchased 3 Cat's Pajama Nepeta, or catmint, and I love catmint. Absolutely love it. I love how it smells. I love how it looks. And like I said, I have a couple different catmint in my yard. I have the Junior Walker catmint, which I do like that variety because it does not get as big as other catmints and it stays more compact. And I don't have a huge, space here. So I do appreciate that about the Junior Walker catmint. And I also have the Early Bird catmint, and that I have in front of a hedge of privet. And I've also dotted it around my yard. And I do like the Early Bird catmint because it blooms early. It blooms early, and it's also low to the ground. You can easily put it in the front of a border. But I also have been admiring the Cat's Pajama Nepeta. And this is a perennial. Nepeta or catmint is a perennial, and it prefers full sun. And like I said, this is a proven winners variety. What I'm noticing so far is that the color is just a little bit more vibrant, just from what I am observing. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is also not very big. It gets 12 to 14 inches. Let's see what I can read about it. It's a long blooming perennial that's perfect in small areas of the landscape. Indigo blue flowers are produced all the way from the soil to the tips. So that's probably one difference, in the proven winners variety that they've improved. And it provides an intense splash of color when it's in bloom. Rosy purple calyxes extend the color when the blooms are past peak. Prefers full sun and average well-drained soil of low to average moisture. Plants respond well to shearing to promote bloom. I do know that because I always usually cut back my Junior Walker catmints mid-season, and I'm always rewarded with a second flush of bloom. So isn't that beautiful? It's just such a beautiful color, the indigo purple color. So I think that it'll look beautiful just right in front of this Crimson Century Norway maple. We decided to keep this tree. We were having some issues with it, but we did kind of build up the bed back here. We thought that was an issue, was the drainage, and we did kind of build it up right behind there along the fence. So I think that will help everything in this front bed here. And last summer, I did plant Artist Blue Azuratum, which is an annual in my Zone 6B garden. I planted like a small hedge right over here, and I just loved that purple block of color. So I think recreating it with the Cat's Pajama Nepeta will give me that same effect, but it's a perennial, so it'll come back year after year for me. And that's a great, that's a good thing. It is a little muckier in this general area of my garden, but a lot better than it was a few weeks ago. It was so wet back here, but I can tell it has a lot more moisture back here than it does, where my birch tree is. And I guess, those birch trees, they do suck up a lot of water, so with their big roots. Okay, let's just see where we're at. Yesterday was such a warm day. It was really our first really hot day here in Western New York. It was super sunny, and it was, I think it was around 84 degrees. I just put some starter plant food in the hole. And today is a little cooler. It's in the 70s, and it was a little sunnier earlier in the day, but now it's clouded up. Well, this Cat's Pajama, I think I watered it last night, so it is pretty moist. And I'm just going to put it right down in the hole here. I can smell it, and it smells beautiful. I think they have such a beautiful fragrance. I know not everybody likes the smell of catmint or nepeta, but I do. I think it's just very alluring, an alluring scent in the garden. I really love it. And the fact that I want to add more roses into my garden as I move along my journey here is great too, because nepeta is a perfect companion plant for roses. I'm sure many of you know that already, but I just thought I would mention it in case somebody doesn't know. So that'll be fantastic. And I'm just backfilling with my clay soil. That is really moist soil. Oh, I love that. There we go. And here is the end result here. Just back up a little bit. Without giving you a full garden tour, you can just see how that indigo blue color is going to complement what I have in this bed already. And it's just a nice contrast to the dogwood and the red of the maple tree, and even the icy blue from the new growth of the blue spruce. We'll just give these a quick water in. They were quite moist when I planted them, so I'm not going to go too nuts with the watering, but just so everything can settle. Well, thanks for joining me today as I took care of my peony plants and supported them with those plant supports. Also, as I planted up a shade-loving plant, the Pink-a-Blue Pulmonaria, and finally, as I added 3 Cat's Pajamas Nepeta to my back garden bed right in front of my red Crimson Century Norway maple tree. I hope this video provided some inspiration for you in your garden, or some motivation to get out there and start digging, start gardening, and enjoying the gardening season. I will see everyone in my next video. Have a great day.